All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hey, thanks for joining. I'm going to work on a tutorial to show you guys really just a Halloween sign that I designed. How to design it in Illustrator as a layered sign that can be cut out on the CO2 laser. We're going to take it over there once we get it done, and I'm going to cut it out on cardboard rather than wood, and show you that you can prototype with cardboard, which is way cheaper than cutting out on wood. That way, if you need to do some tweaks or whatnot, you're not out a lot of money. So let's get into it. Okay, first off, I do have all of my elements. I am working in Illustrator, and as you can see, this is what we're going to be designing. But you can take this concept and you can design your own, no problem. First off, I'm going to type up my letters. In this case, we're doing boo. And I want these as separate elements. And I'll show you why here in a second. Kind of space this out just a little bit. There we go. And resize it a little bit more to my liking. Okay, the next thing that you want to do with any font is you want to go up to type and you want to create outlines. You want to create a shape so that when you import it into another program, it's not looking for a certain font. And then we're going to go over to Pathfinder and hit Unite. You don't want these overlapping lines, because if you have overlapping lines like this, your laser is going to cut right there. So we're going to hit the Unite and create one shape there. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to switch this over to an outline. And what we're going to do is I'm going to beef this up to a 14 point. And I am going to hit expand, fill stroke. And now we can start taking our elements over. So I've got this bat. Place it over here. The main thing is you want all of your elements to overlap so that when you weld it, it's all one piece. And same way with the spider. Now the reason I'm not doing the web right now is because that's going to be a separate piece, as you can see right here. It's going to be a separate piece that gets layered or cut out and then layered on top, and it's not part of the actual outline of the lettering. And I'll explain that here in a bit. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I want to select the wording, and then I want my erase tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in and erase everything that is in the middle of where a piece would go into. And if you know a faster way, by all means, go for it on this one. This is just what I found is the quickest and easiest way for me. And like I said, when you get to places like this, you want it to overlap. You need something for it to weld to. Stuff like this, you can erase all these little pieces. I'm not too concerned about. Something like that, I can get, I can live with getting rid of. So take all this out. and on the bat. And again, leaving some of that black outline overlapping the purple so that has something to weld to. Okay, now we want to select everything and we want to go back to Pathfinder and Unite. And now you can see everything is connected, everything's one shape. And that's what we want. And then just take a look over, make sure that everything got erased that needed to be erased. I can see right here, I don't like that. I want to go back and erase that little bit on the outline. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, let's try that. There we go. Okay, so you can see here, I've got this blue outline. We got that kind of, created. The next thing that we want to do is create the back piece that this would get glued to. So I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to select everything once it's been welded together, and I want to switch everything to a stroke. Now, you can see here, what I'm going to do is take out all of the inner lines. So, like for instance, that line, the spider, what we're trying to do is create one solid shape for the background. Now on the D, the B, it looks like a D. I want the outer line gone and keep the center. And you'll see here in a second that when they overlap, the hole that gets cut out will line up. Take away the ghost. Now some of these parts I want to leave. You'll kind of see over here, you see this sliver separating the ghost from the O. Take away that. And then same way with pieces of the spider overlapping the background. I want to be able to see all the way through. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to select everything. And then you want to go to divide. And then select your outer, just the outer part. And then you want to switch this from a stroke to a solid fill. You can see here, now we have that cut out in the shape. Okay, now this part's a little bit tricky, but I hope you can follow along here. And again, if you know a better method, by all means, do it. Leave me a comment in the below so that other people know maybe there's an easier way to do this. But like I said, over here, I want this as a separate shape. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to overlap it to where I like it. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste in front. So, on a Mac, it's Command C, Command F. Actually, let's go back here real quick. I'm going to show you something that I just saw that I don't like. It's best to select a different color. That way you don't have thin little slivers like that. You don't want that. So before we weld this together, that looks better. Then you don't have that thin line. All right. So let's go ahead and copy and paste that again. and we're going to do minus front. We'll set that aside. Then we'll go back over here, select the two, and we're going to unite as one shape. So now we have the background as one complete shape. And then this blue part can be cut out as a separate shape. It doesn't have to be lined up perfectly there, but that way it gets cut out on its own. And I'll show you that. Now we can go back over here. We can change this to, we'll change that to the same color. All right. Okay, now we can take our other elements. We can copy and paste those there. Now, if you're doing this for your website and you want like a digital file to show people, and you want to get like gradients and change the color, like a lot of this doesn't really matter for just laser cutting, because the laser is just going to read outlines for Lightburn. But if you wanted to, say, you wanted to fill in some of these shapes, all you need to do is copy your shape and delete that outer line, and do a gradient or whatever fill that you want. But that's all you have to do on this part, is just select your shape, delete the outer line, that way it makes it into a solid shape. We'll move that backwards. There we go. Oh, and I forgot one more piece here. We want that, bring that to the front, because that's going to get cut out as a separate piece. Take our spider. And let's change that to black. Now there's another step that we have to do in order to get it ready for the laser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up another artboard. And what I'm going to do is copy and paste our design. And what I want to do is I want to select just our background. And I'm going to move that over. And I want that as a solid fill. That way I know that it's my background piece. This right here can stay right there. It's going to get cut out. We're going to delete all of our little fill shapes there. These fill shapes are fine because you want it to cut out the eyes. Now, depending on your laser, one thing I do want to mention is if you have real thin shapes, you may want to make those a little bit bigger. Now, one thing I want to do is I want everything to be a stroke. Okay, so why I have everything set on that side as a stroke as one color is when you take it into Lightburn as one color for your stroke, you're telling Lightburn that you want everything to be the same. So in this case, when I take it in, I can select that and I can change the settings based off of that stroke for just my cut settings. Then I have a solid shape, and if you want, you can realistically you could change that to a stroke as well. And what you want to do is you want to change it to a different color. So that way you know that that one's going to read as your cut file for the back piece. So say if you're doing all of your back pieces, let's see. So if you're saying if you're doing your back pieces maybe like 1/4 inch wood, but your top piece is 1/8 inch wood, well, you're going to want your settings different. So go ahead and change your color on your back piece from your front one. That way you can go in and easily select it and be different. So we got our file set up. Let's go ahead and jump over to the laser. I'm going to show you how I use cardboard for the prototyping, cutting out and piecing it together. That way you can see if it's going to work how you want it, instead of spending all that money on wood. And like I said, it's a lot faster, a lot cheaper. So let's jump over there. All right, so I got everything in Lightburn for the top layer. I've already sent it over, framed it just like I did on the back piece. Go ahead and hit start. All right, we got our back piece all set up. Looks pretty good. We'll set that over there and take our other piece for the top layer. All right, so I got everything in Lightburn for the top layer. I've already sent it over, framed it just like I did on the back piece. Go ahead and hit start. Okay, got everything cut out. Now these pieces right here, we don't need. Throw that away. And that. All right, so what I like to use for my prototypes is just some spray adhesive. You can use something like this or 3M, really doesn't matter. So we got our backer piece. I'm gonna spray this real quick off camera. All right. Lay this down. Now with working with cardboard, it's going to stick pretty fast if you use adhesive that's real powerful. So really don't need anything too crazy. Just to glue paper together, essentially. But you want to do your best to make sure everything is lined up all the way around. And I just glue the outer pieces together. I don't worry about, you know, the inner pieces that much. I just want to get everything down so that it holds those pieces together, or in rather. All right. So got that right there set and glued. So this is what I was talking about in the tutorial, why you want it as a separate piece, separate layer, because that goes right there. There we go. And again, when you glue these down, you can get them exactly where you want. Bat. Oh, we're missing an eye. Hold on. I bet it's still over here. Yeah. And really it's personal preference on what you want cut out and what you want put back in. So if you want everything in, cool. But I like it either way. The spider. And a little piece there. Actually, let's go ahead and spray this down. I think the more I think about it, I'm going to go ahead and keep those pieces in. I do like it a little bit better, like shadows or highlights in the ghost. And just like that, we got the prototype made. It looks great, fits well. I mean, you can do all sorts of tweaks, all sorts of designs, and make some really cool Halloween signs, Christmas. I mean, all sorts of stuff with this technique. So guys, if you got value out of this content and made it all the way through, man, I'd greatly appreciate you if you hit that subscribe button. Definitely leave me a comment if you have any questions, and smash that like button. We'll see y'all in the next video.